because there's an opportunity that's about to present itself. All right? Simple enough. Two instructions. Clap when you guys hear the word money, and look for an opportunity. Okay? So, most of us go to work to make money. That was a tester. Most of us go to work to make money. We use money to pay rent. Oh, you guys are slow. Let's see if we can wake you up. We use money to pay rent, groceries, transportation, and hopefully there's some money left over, right? But everybody in this room would probably like an opportunity to make a little bit more. Ooh, I said opportunity, right? So, sometimes we're so busy doing things for money that we don't realize when an opportunity shows itself. I said opportunity, not money. And sometimes you have to take the chance to seize the opportunity, because money can sometimes just come out of anywhere. There you go. Everybody give TJ a round of applause. Thank you, TJ, for seizing the opportunity to make some money. So my name is Ian Nuama, and I just wanted to wake you guys up a little bit because I know you've been sitting for some time. I'm just going to get accustomed to this clicker. Are we good to go? So I guess I press this.
Oh, no, press towards.
Like this? Is that on? Oh, amazing. Look at that. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about following through. You guys can all have a seat. Thank you so much, and clap for yourselves. Clap for yourselves. That one didn't come with money, though. All right. So today, we're going to have a conversation about following through. Very, very important conversation. My name is Ian Nuama. I was reading the book of Joshua, and it spoke to me. So by a show of hands, how many people here are working hard but are feeling like they're not really getting ahead? Thank you. You got my friend in the back there. So after working, paying rent, paying bills, groceries, there's very little to save for your future. Does anybody can relate to that? All right. How many people by show of hands? I just gotta count, head count. All right. Okay. So, with that being said, right, we're going to have a, let me just pull this up 1 second. There we go. Right? So then somebody comes and tells you, you want to get ahead for your future, so you need to save more money. And you're sitting there like, what? What are you talking about? There's barely anything left to save, right? And sometimes you just need a little bit of a different strategy, okay? And, oh, 1 second. Okay. All right, now I got it. There you go. There you go, working harder and not really getting ahead. Amazing. So you work your 9 to 5, your day job, and then after that, you go and you look for a side hustle, okay? Does anybody relate to that? Does anybody have any hobbies? Or are you guys all students and you're just in school and mom and dad pays for all the bills? No, okay. Right? And so like I mentioned, you have your paycheck. Everybody gets paid except your future, which is very important. Today we're here to discuss your future. Rent, groceries, cars, phone, insurance, debt. Your future gets zilch, zero, nothing. Okay. But I'm here to give you guys a word of encouragement. Be strong and be courageous, okay? The most important thing here is that, let me go back. Joshua, similar to Joshua, was presented with an opportunity. And he spent years preparing for this opportunity. So by the time the opportunity came up, he was ready. That he didn't have to get ready, he just kind of flew into it. So just like him facing that challenge in front of the Jordan River to cross it, you all need to be strong and be courageous, okay? But being courageous isn't always just enough. in being courageous, you have to also understand how to follow through. Okay? Following through basically is taking that courage and following through on that action. There's a lot of gems that Mr. Coleman dropped that we can probably piggyback off of. He had a really good conversation. I really liked it. I enjoyed it. And a lot of us don't have necessarily an information problem. A lot of us may have an execution problem. We know we should save. We know we should invest. We know we should deal with the debt that's on our table, or we know the course that we need to take, right? But then following through becomes an issue. How many people here are interested in investing or learning about investing? Okay. How many people have taken a first step already towards investing? All right. If I can call on some people to tell me some things that they've done, I just want to get an idea of where you're at so we can take the conversation to the next level. Show of hands. What have you done in investing so far, my friend?
So far, I've opened up a Wealthsimple account and I've invested some money into the S&P 500.
Amazing. Guys, give him a round of applause. Anybody else somewhere similar around him opening a Wealthsimple account?
I've also opened a Wealthsimple account, and I've done, I think it's called mutual funds with my bank.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Give her a round of applause, everybody. Thank you so much.
Similar to both of them, I've also, I booked a couple of appointments with my financial advisor, and I was just learning more about investing, and I've opened a mutual funds, a high dividends ETF, and
Nice.
I'm continually learning about investing and other sources of making income producible assets, etc.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for your contribution. I really appreciate it. So it sounds like investing isn't something new to any of you guys at all. So if that's the case, I'll share a little story with how I started getting into investing. And it was actually back in college. And I had a teacher. His name was John D'Amato, Jewish guy, taught finance. And he challenged us one day, and he said, when he says it, he doesn't say finance, he says finance. And he challenged us one day. He said, guys, I don't care what the number is between $0 to $100. Just pick a number that you know you can do every 2 weeks or once a month. So for me, I picked $25. Some people were more privileged. They picked $100. But I kid you not, for the next 10 years of my life, every 2 weeks, no matter what happened, that $25 would come out and go into a TFSA account. The commitment was so real to the point that there's days where I had no money in the account, and I would let it go into overdraft to put the money into the investment account. That's how serious the dedication was. And it seems like a very strange behavior, but it goes back to what Mr. Coleman was saying. The consistency over time is what manifested into the development of the portfolio that I had. Okay? So I'm not telling you to go into overdraft. However, by any means, if there's a number that you're able to do, that consistency over time started to manifest little by little. $25 every 2 weeks. I think at the end of the time, that was like $600 a year. And then over 10 years, that became $6,000. But that money was $6,000 invested or contributed, but over time, it grew into much more than that. Okay? So what you want to do is that if you are opening you have a TFSA account, start off with a small number that you know you can commit to. The goal isn't the amount. The goal is the consistency. It can be $5 for all I care. Just make sure you have an amount that you're constantly always contributing to that account. Good advice? Yeah? Did you learn something new today?
Yeah.
Amazing. Everybody give him a round of applause, please. Amazing. Okay? Now, I know I was supposed to start a bit earlier, so I know I'm running a little bit short on time. But the next thing is, let's talk about some principles on making decisions on investments, like risks, things to be aware of, things to know, okay? In the modern world right now, we have a lot of investing chasing instead of investing building. I don't know if anybody knows what that means, but I mean, social media can have its pros and cons. If you're watching the right media, consuming stuff, it can be actually really educational, right? Go queue up your feed, click like on a bunch of investment videos, and then now all of a sudden you're inundated with a bunch of information that's overwhelming. So now, getting the information isn't the problem. The challenge is now knowing how to sort through it. Does anybody have a strategy for how to sort through information when it comes to investing? Okay, so I'm gonna ask a few people. My friend there in the glasses that spoke, how did you make your investment decisions? I think you said you sat down with a financial advisor, correct? And your financial advisor, were they at a bank? Were they somebody independent?
Yes,
Tell me a little more.
They did work at a bank, and they were also someone that I knew. So it was easy to talk to them, and I could trust them. So they kind of dueled as a trusted person and a financial advisor, so I had that privilege. And I also did do my own research.
Amazing. All right, thank you so much. Does everybody or anybody have that in their corner? Somebody that they can rely to for financial advice, an advisor, or anything of that nature? Amazing. Oh, you guys are well above this presentation. Next time I have to come with actual graphs and go into things. Right? So risk, what does risk break down to? Risk starts for research, impact, spread, and keep time. Okay? When you start to invest, you want to be in a position where you can invest for the long run. Right? Oh, yes. The slide. I think I gave up on the slides. Hold on. Let's see. You want to be in a position where you can invest for the long run, right? So risk, R stands for research. Where you do your research is very, very important. Yeah. Sorry, okay. We'll just leave it for now. Where you do your research is very, very important, okay? Looking online is great. There's a lot of tools online. There's a lot of information online. There's a group of people that I follow that actually do social media investment education. I don't know if anybody's heard of EYL. Very, very brilliant people to watch. But do you actually understand what you're investing in? And how does it make money? Could you explain what that investment is in, right? And so where you normally want to start when it comes to investing is you want to start in everyday products that you usually choose, that you use every day. You've heard this before, right? Yeah? Good. Then impact. This is probably the most important question. What happens if something goes wrong? What impact would it have on my life? If the entire investment was to go belly up and it would drastically impact your life, then you probably have done less of investing and more of gambling, right? And so you want to just make sure that you're putting in funds that you can live without if it doesn't happen to work out. But for whatever reason, it's sometimes, for whatever reason, it always happens to work out, right? After that, then you have spread. One sec. So spread, am I diversifying? So like you mentioned, you're using mutual funds. So mutual funds essentially is like somebody who takes a bucket and they take little pieces of shares of all these other companies and they put it in there to like spread out the spread, to diversify the risk, right? This just helps to avoid you from being in a situation where you're over contributing into one set stock. So if that stock happens to go down, you don't also take that turn, right? And then lastly is time. So time is your biggest asset, right? The sooner you start, the better. The more time you have, the better. Because in the long haul, usually a company that you're investing in will figure it out. And when they do start to figure it out, then you'll get to reap those benefits and those rewards, okay? So when it comes to those things, that's basically my analogy for risk, okay? Now, if I can, oh, there it is. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me see. Oh, wow. Now it's working. There you go. Okay. So I want to touch on something really, really important. When it comes to investing, when it comes to making money, when it comes to wealth, there are three very, very key relationships that you need to have. Like very, very key relationships. They go in this order. You cannot skip it. I've tried before. It doesn't work. Okay? Relationship number one, your relationship with God. Your relationship with God is extremely important. The reason why, because he is the source of all vision and wisdom. This young girl over there asked a question about being delusional. As long as you're sourcing God, there's no vision that is delusional. Okay? It could be a big vision, but with his vision, it's massive. With his wisdom, you'll be able to break it down into steps that you could take a step and move forward. Now, to my men and all my ladies, but very important to understand, when you have that relationship with God and you have the vision and you have the wisdom, it's going to attract men, people. The reason why it's going to attract men and people, because we are all human beings, and guess what we're all looking for? A relationship with God. So if you have a deep relationship with God and you have deep vision and you have deep wisdom, you will attract men. And men who are looking to seek for that same knowledge will come and seek you. At that point, those men will also come with resources. One of my mentors taught me, he said, Ian, we're working and we're building an accounting business, and what are we in it for? And I said, money. Thank you, TJ. I got you another $10. And he said, no, we're not in it for money. I said, we're not? He said, no, we're not. I said, then what are we in this for? He said, we're in it for people. We're in the business of collecting people. Because you can't go to a tree and create money. There's no resource that you can spend 24 hours of your day to try to build by yourself. It's nearly impossible. It's very, very tiring. But we're in the business of collecting people, because if we collect people, we can solve problems, and that exchange is there. So those three relationships are really, really important. First relationship is with God gives you vision, and that vision and wisdom attracts, and those people come along with amazing. You have a vision that's so delusional you think you can't get it done. You pray on your knees, and then all of a sudden someone comes and sees and says, oh, I like what you're doing. And then you're like, well, I want to be a WNBA player, and I'm 5'6". And all of a sudden that person comes up and is like, oh, well, guess what? My cousin's the GM of this team. Resources. The more people you're able to attract, the more resources you can attract. So, this goes into, I don't know where I am in the slides. Can you guys clap if that related to you? That makes sense? Amazing. Amazing. How much time do I have left? Okay, about 5 minutes. Okay. So, let me see where we are at. We talked about the savings. We talked about that. So let's talk about switching career paths, okay? I'm going to switch this here, and I'm going to go to this instead. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Okay, so we talked a little bit about saving in today's economy, okay, which is using that principle. Find an amount that you can do without refute every day, every month, every week, whatever the cycle is. Commit to it, let it go into that account. Whether it's a TFSA, please use a tax-free savings account or RSP account before you use any other account. Does everybody know what a TFSA is? Everybody know what an RSP is? Amazing. You guys are brilliant, eh? So let's talk a little bit about alternative sources of income, alternative avenues of income, okay? Similar to that relationship that I just gave you, God, people, and resources, all alternative sources of income live in those three relationships, okay? And also in those three relationships, inside every single one of you guys, there's also 3 different types of personalities, okay? I think you mentioned that you want to do your PhD. You will in Jesus' name. So there's 3 different types of personalities inside of all of us, okay? Inside of all of us, we have someone called a technician, we have a manager, and we have an entrepreneur, okay? And when you guys are looking for alternative forms of income, you're always going to start off at the technician level. That technician level is I blank people with whatever their problem is. So my name is Ian, and I help people do taxes. My name is Ian, and I educate people on finance. Whatever it is that you do, whether it's a hobby, maybe you like to dance, maybe you like to entertain, maybe you like doing nails like Uncle's daughter did. Whatever it is, you start off with that level, okay? I blank people, whatever it is. It's a form of service, okay? Once you reach that, you'll start to realize that you'll be able to develop a skill. And that skill can go towards helping you to make your alternative form of income. But it doesn't stop there. As you develop that skill and as you get better, eventually people will start to recognize you that you have that skill. You spent time with that skill, and through that skill, you're going to start to develop certain nuances, certain intuition, certain wisdom, and certain vision. And as you get better at that skill and you develop that certain wisdom and certain vision, don't forget to pray on the skill, you'll start to attract more people. Okay. So you start attracting more people, and then people start coming to you. And they come to you in the droves, like to the point where it's like you're overwhelmed. You're booked down to the nines. You're forgetting appointments. You're missing things. And at that point, you may be a little bit stressed out. But what I'll tell you is that that's also a blessing. Because at that point, you're able to now tap into the manager inside of you and start to figure out how to manage your technician. Okay? When you start to figure out how to manage that skill, instead of actually being the one to perform that skill, you'll move to a new level of attracting alternative income. Okay? Lastly, once you get there, then you need to tap really into the vision of that overall income stream and start to make decisions on looking at what's happening in the future and becoming the entrepreneur behind that and trying your best to pull that future to reality. Okay? So those three people are always inside of you. Some of them are stronger than others. Sometimes you're a technician, sometimes you're a manager, sometimes you're an entrepreneur. But whatever it is that you think that you can do to help people, even if it's a smile, it can be done to turn into something. I've seen people from high school. I think some of the most successful people I know from when I was growing up are people who started something very, very young and just stuck with it all the way through. Like they just never dabbled. They're just, that was calling, and they just ran with it, and they're so far ahead because, I mean, when you're in university and college, that's probably the one last time that you'll be in an institution that you'll run in front of people nonstop, like thousands of people. And all of them will get to know you for that skill. And if you stick with it, they'll also continue to know you for that skill at the time when that becomes important to you or important to them. Okay? Let's see here. I think, so what I'm going to ask for you guys to do here in the next 24 hours, I'm going to ask you guys to take some action, okay? And in that action, what I will ask you guys to do is, in terms of your finances, sit down. Any questions that you may have or you ever wanted to receive in terms of finances, I'll share my contact, my email, and I will be an open book to consult with any question that you have. Investing, stocks, whatever the case may be. I'll pause now because I am running a little bit late on time. I'm supposed to be at 11:30, but I have to run after this, so I apologize. But I do want to leave it open for any questions that you guys may have. Okay? And that's it. Thank you so much. TJ, congratulations on taking an advantage. How did you know that was the opportunity to grab?
I just took it.
But TJ's so good, he's going to use that money to, go get himself some lunch or maybe get back to the church. I don't know. But, yeah. So... But did anybody have any questions? No? None off the top of the head? Go ahead. By the way, introduce yourself and then just say your question. Oh, thank you so much.
My name is Anna, and my question is, do you think it's smart to have multiple investments in multiple financial institutions, like RBC, CIBC, BMO, like TD, or should we just have like one place?
Um, so that's a really good question. In terms of investments, I believe your investments should be concentrated. In terms of relationships, I do believe that it's wise to have relationships with more than one bank because you just never know what can happen, right? So if your investments are with RBC, that's fine. I prefer using Questrade, something outside of the banks. They're just lower on fees and things of that nature. But if you do have investments in multiple banks, maybe concentrating them will make things a little bit more simpler so you can just take a look at one portfolio at a time kind of thing. Yeah. No problem.
I have a question about, I think it's passed now, but Canada had something about first-time homeowners.
Right.
Could you explain that? And if it comes again, would it be smart to get that?
That's a good question. So, first-time home buyers is a thing has been around for quite some time, and I can definitely explain it. Essentially, what it is, it's a program that allows you to ease the burden of actually being able to buy your first home. Okay, and so if you have money that's invested or saved in a specific type of account, like an RSP account, for example, right? Then when you put money in that account, there's the home buyers program there's multifaceted program. So I'm speaking one from the tax perspective, and then I'll speak from a different perspective. Okay. You may be talking more about, I think, like the home buyers incentive amount when you buy a house and they give you some money back. It's done now. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So usually what happens is that in Canada, we have the Canadian Constitution, which everybody has a right to a home, and the government does the best they can to allow or make it easier for people to be able to afford and buy homes. Okay? So that first-time home buyers incentive program was like a kickback. If you're a first-time home buyers, they would compensate you some money back to ease the burden of buying a home, essentially. That program's not gone by any means. It's still available. But I don't recall the exact amounts on it, right? I don't recall the exact amounts on it, but if I can just double check it and confirm it for you, I'll let you know, okay? Any other questions? Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My question is, not every investment grows your business. Some just drain it. How do you personally decide which opportunities to say yes to and which to walk away from?
Say that again, it cut out, sorry.
Not every investment grows your business. Some just drain it. How do you personally decide which opportunities to say yes to and which to walk away from?
That's a great question. Practical answer, you learn with time. What you want to really get good at when you're making decisions is learning how to fail fast and fail very isolated. So remember how we did the risk analogy? We said research and then impact. That impact piece would be what I would probably use because, there's a level of knowledge that you don't know what you don't know. And so speaking on a very practical step for maybe I'm assuming some people who may not have this experience, you may want to go in and test the waters. So for example, like if I'm going to look for a new contractor, I may give them a small file to work on and see how they respond to that file first before I give them a bigger one, right? Yeah, does that answer your question? All right, one last question, please.
Do you think that investing in crypto is bad or good?
Ooh, that's a great question. I can't say if it's bad or good, And the reason why I'll say that is because I know a few people who have made quite a bit of money off of crypto. But I do think that what determines if an investment is bad or good is the level of comfortability and knowledge that you look into it. Is crypto going anywhere? I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. It's here to stay. And if you are interested in looking into crypto, I would just be aware of the fact that it could be very, very volatile. But if you understand it, I think it would be great for you. Yeah, I think it would be great for you. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, everybody.
Oh, give him a round of applause. Give him a round of applause. Sorry, I don't know where the pastor is.